Welcome to the AFR Saints channel, where we provide you daily content on your favorite team, the New Orleans Saints. Do us a favor and hit that subscribe button. Be sure to leave your comments below and smash that like button. Who dat? Mickey Loomis met with reporters today, Wednesday, one day before the draft, as he does every year, and it never fails. Mickey Loomis generally says not much, because why would a general manager one day before the draft tip his hand about what he's going to do? He wouldn't. But by obligation with the NFL, he's got to have this press conference, and reporters have to ask him questions that he typically won't answer and typically doesn't say much. But this one was interesting. Mickey Loomis was asked if they see more value in the middle of the first round this year. Give a listen.
I don't know about more or less. I just, look, there's a group of players that we like that we think are going to be available.
I'm not so sure that he's specifically saying, and that was in reaction to the trade with the Eagles to get 2 first-round picks. And so when he says there's a group of players we like that we think are going to be available, it certainly doesn't say like he's targeting one. Now, he's not saying we're definitely going to use both picks, but he kind of is saying there's a group of players we think are going to be available there, and we may have a chance to get 2. Like he was saying, they had with the trade for the Eagles, it was an opportunity to get multiple players earlier. So I do think that the Saints are going to use both of those picks. The fascinating thing would be if they feel there's an opportunity to move up, but that would only present itself very likely if one of the premier left tackles is not there or is on the board. Let's say Charles Cross, if Neil and Ike Ekwonu, I'm mispronouncing it, I know, I'm sorry, the kid from NC State, the large man from NC State, excuse me. Let's say Charles Cross is the 3rd best tackle in the draft, and he starts to slide a little bit past the 10th pick, the 11th pick, the 12th pick. Do the Saints say, let's go get him? And maybe you give 16 and 49 or 16 and 98, whatever it might be, to go up and get that franchise left tackle. Okay, I'd be down with that. Otherwise, I think they're going to stay put there. But most of the questions for Mickey Loomis revolved around the trade with the Eagles. Now, he was also asked about free agency and if that's still a possibility after the draft. Here's what Mickey Loomis said about the possibility of still addressing some of these roster needs in free agency after the draft.
Yeah, I think, we're going to find out. Yeah. Here's the thing is, when we get done with the draft, we're still only going to have, 70, I forget what the number is exactly, but we're going to have roster spots available. So, yeah, there's still work to be done after the draft.
Work to be done. Adding players in free agency doesn't necessarily mean you're going to add Jarvis Landry or Tyrann Mathieu. It doesn't necessarily mean you're looking to spend a lot. If you get your high-priced, your top-tier receiver, you're likely not going after Jarvis Landry. Safety, I believe, is going to be very interesting. And I will throw out a name that I've heard sort of whispered to me a good bit that a lot of people within the Saints organization do like, and it's Jalen Pitre out of Baylor. Jalen Pitre is a guy who was a consensus All-American this year. He is a big safety. At 75 tackles this year at Baylor. Not a huge pass rush threat, but can play in the box and can be really effective. Actually had 3.5 sacks and 18.5 tackles for loss this year. So he can be that box safety that Malcolm Jenkins was. So if you think in terms of Marcus May replacing Marcus Williams, but you're looking for someone to replace Malcolm Jenkins, that could be Jalen Pitre. And remember also that he played for Dave Aranda. And Dave Aranda is a really good defensive coach, as we all know very well. He coaches very smart players within his defense. And I think that would be a home run for the Saints in round 2 if he's on the board when they pick at 49. I'm just going to throw I don't often know. I'm not telling you like I know what the Saints board looks like or anything like that. I don't know. I don't know how they have it graded, what positions they covet the most, and really how round 1 is going to play out matters so much. Who is available when you're picking, or if you make a move, is going to dictate what you do in the remainder of the draft. But I do believe if the best case scenario unfolds, Trevor Pennig's there at 16, Chris Olave's there at 19, you address left tackle, wide receiver with 2 guys you like a lot. And if Jalen Petre's on the board at 49 and you take him in round 2, now you've addressed really your 3 biggest needs with your first 3 picks. And that gives you the luxury the rest of the draft to go running back, defensive tackle, quarterback, whatever might be out there, as we've seen in all these different mock drafts. But just a name to keep an eye on. If he's floating around on the board in round 2, still, Jalen Petre could be a guy at safety that the Saints pull the trigger on that they really like a lot. But we'll all start to get to know it. And it's so interesting, too, because this is a franchise that was so bad at drafting. And, I've shared this with you before, but like in 2017, when they used number 32 to take Ryan Ramczyk, I dumped on him. I mean, they drafted a backup offensive tackle. They traded Brandon Cooks, basically draft what was going to be a backup offensive tackle. But then Zach Strief gets hurt, and Ramczyk, it's been incredible. That same draft, they took Alvin Kamara in round 3, when they had already, just before the draft, a week before the draft, signed Adrian Peterson. It's like, why did you sign a running back if you're going to draft a running back in round 3? But keep in mind, the Saints were a horrible drafting team. The 2014, 15, 16 drafts were atrocious. So, Mike Thomas notwithstanding. But that one draft in 2017 flipped the way we perceive how this team drafts, because they have been magnificent. They deserve the benefit of the doubt with however they put stuff together now, because they've got a long enough track record to say their scouting, their evaluation, the way that they handle draft day, it's worked. And it's manifested itself in one of the winningest teams in the NFL in the last half decade, certainly since 2017. And we'll get a new look at the next draft, starting on Thursday. Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact. And be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.